Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Decker team. I'm Ken Decker, and today I got a couple of special guests that just happened to walk into the office actually while we were recording. And I said, hey, come on down to the studio. And so this is very impromptu that you're on CHRI. I don't know if you recognize that, but you are on the radio station CHRI.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so you'll have to let your loved ones know, and
Excellent.
they can listen to the show, and they can also watch it because we record it on video. So the link will be on the chri.ca website. It's also will be on the deckerteam.com website. So, how about you introduce yourself, and how do you know the Decker team?
Shall I go first?
Go for it.
All right, my name's Cole. About 3 years back, we met with the Decker team to sell our house. My family decided we were going to live overseas. And so we met you guys, and then we went through a bunch of crazy stuff with our house, and you guys still managed to get it sold. And that's insane. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. So you sold a house for the Decker team, and it was your parents' house, right?
Yes.
And you did that about 3 years ago.
I'd say about that, yeah.
All right.
And 6 years ago, we bought our home with the Decker team.
And who are you?
My name is Bourque, sorry.
Andre, okay.
You're right. And we bought our home. We heard about the Decker team on CHRI and went from there.
Oh, so you heard us on CHRI.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, because I didn't know exactly how we got connected.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had another real estate agent lined up through a recommendation of a friend. And I told my wife, no, we need to go with the Decker team.
Oh. And what was that deciding factor?
I really don't know.
Well, we left that much impression. That's awesome.
No, in my heart, I really did feel that God was
so
leading
you heard
us
from the Spirit.
I absolutely heard from the Spirit that
cool.
we were to use the Decker team, and it has certainly, obviously, worked out well for us and developed into a wonderful friendship.
Okay, so Andre, that was about 6 years ago.
6 years ago,
right? Okay, and so you met with the Decker team. Tell us a little bit about the process. Do you remember the process of what you went through when you first called and who you met with? And
I do.
How that went?
We first called in and said, hey, we're thinking about buying a home, and figured real estate representation was a good way to go. And we were placed with Candace, and Candace started to talk to us about what we were looking for in a home, where we were thinking of moving, the things that we kind of needed in a home, and just basically for a good day, we talked about the things that we need in a home and our needs for area, especially. Okay.
And you wanted to get a little more out in the country, I think. Where were you living before that?
We were right down at Hogsback.
Okay.
In a condo there. Right. And my wife wanted to move to an outlying area just so that we could have more land, a bigger yard, and she likes gardening and whatnot. So
okay. And so how long did it take to find the right property?
It was a good 2 to 3 month process to find the right property.
Okay.
We looked at least a dozen homes. We had lined up a list of homes that we thought were definitely our home, and quickly found out that they weren't.
Okay. Was that because, was it when you went to see them, or did Candace say, no, really, you don't want to live in this spot, or what? How was that process for you?
The first couple we actually went to go see, and they had varying degrees of issues, from foundations that were ready to collapse in to layouts that just didn't work, especially for us.
Okay.
And there was 2 or 3 that Candace was very clear on that they were not the house that we were looking for. We could definitely go look at them if we wanted to, but they won't be what we're looking for. And one of them we went to look at, and she was absolutely right. It was not what we were looking for at all, even though we thought it was. And from then, we literally just trusted her judgment and her experience in that.
Okay. And so you found a property just kind of between Metcalfe and Vernon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I believe that property was actually for sale by the Decker team as well, right?
It was. Candace had mentioned that you guys did have a home for sale that she thought might fill the needs that we had brought to her, and we went to look at it. Initially, it wasn't an immediate yes, but the more we looked at other homes and the more we looked at other options, it became clear that it was definitely the house for us at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bought that about 6 years ago. Now
Yeah.
so because we had the property listed for sale, it means we were representing the seller, and then you were being represented by us as well. So we call that multiple representation. How did that work for you? Was there a time where you felt uncomfortable, or did you always feel like you were in control? What was that process like?
Yeah. There was never a sense of disadvantage, I guess would be the word.
Okay.
Candace was always separate. I believe it was either you or Yetta. I think it was Yetta
Mm-hmm.
that actually handled the sale portion, and Candace handled our buying portion. So there was never really a time where we thought, this isn't working out for us in any way. It was quite seamless, really. There was no hiccups that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Even right through to early morning house inspections after night shifts. I mean, everything went smoothly, and
Okay. Yeah, because
we were quite happy.
you work for an airline.
Yep.
And so you do long shifts.
Long shifts, long night shifts.
Okay. And Candace was able to work within your
absolutely.
And your wife is a nurse as
A
well,
nurse,
right?
yeah.
So there's that. You've got really varying shifts between the two of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And now let's talk a little bit about the journey. So you bought the house. Obviously, there's always little things or sometimes big things that come up after you move in, because you go, oh, I didn't really notice that, or I didn't realize I had to repair this so soon. Was there that kind of thing came up for you?
The only thing that really crept up was the water treatment system. Living in the country, obviously, on a well and septic, you need to be mindful of that. And the only thing that failed, which was surprising to us, was the water treatment system, and it really didn't take much to sort that out.
So was that like a water softener to
water softener
condition the
system.
water,
Yeah.
so it's not have as much calcium in it, so it's keeps your clothes whiter when you have a softener, and soap sudsy more,
A little bit more,
skin
yeah.
softer,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, all that good stuff. Okay, so that was about really the only surprise. Now talk to me a little bit about, because obviously you got to know Candace, and it's interesting because we never knew you before, but you felt that there was a prompting that you should use the Decker team. And now your family and Candace's family, what's your relationship now 6 years later?
6 years on, Candace and Sasha are some of our best friends. And pretty much the whole Decker family is entrenched in ours. Not only that, but the previous owners of the home are like a second family for us as well. It really has grown into such a wonderful community, literally off of just a simple prompting that we shouldn't use a recommended realtor, we should use the Decker team.
Interesting, because now your family attends the same church that we attend.
We do now, yeah.
Yeah, you do now, and so does the family that sold the house.
Yep.
So God had some kind of, he had his fingers all over this.
He definitely did, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Very neat. And I think even my son has, is he in a Bible study with you guys or not?
Ryan we have a family group that meets for dinners. We used to do it every week. Now it's a little bit more monthly, just based on scheduling. But he is a part of our family group. Not so much a Bible study, but just a family group who are living life together. Yes.
A community, a tribe.
Yeah.
Tribe is the in word, right?
Yes.
That's the new. Very cool. So your real estate transaction turned into really being part of a family almost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you been out to any of our special client celebrations?
Absolutely. We make a point to attend just about all of them. The Christmas trees and at Christmas time, the strawberries in the summer, the apples in the fall, and then usually Yetta's birthday. We always make a point to be available for the events.
Okay.
Well worth it.
Very cool.
Well worth it.
Very cool. So that's something special that Candace explained it really well to me a little while back. She said a lot of realtors give like a closing gift. Like you buy a house through them and you move in, and they're gonna maybe give you pizza on moving day, or they might give you a potted plant or a picture or something, right? And we used to do that as well. And then we decided, you know what? Let's give the gift that keeps on giving, and that is, we're not going to give you a closing gift on the we now call it a celebration day, not the closing day. In the real estate industry, it's called the closing day when you get your keys for your house, right? Because it's the day you close on the house. We call it the celebration day because to us, it's the beginning of a relationship that's ongoing. It's not that's the closing or the end of our relationship. It may be realtor for that period of time, and yet there's a relationship that's been created that continues. And whether it's for future investment properties or when you decide to sell, or when you have family or friends that need to buy or sell, we want to be in that relationship with you. And so we decided that our client celebration events, where we give you a basket of strawberries or apples, or go give you a free Christmas tree, and you come and you cut it down and have chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. I was thinking they were oatmeal, but they're very good.
They were oatmeal one year.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's why the brain stuck on oatmeal. I like oatmeal chips or cookies. And then hot chocolate. It's like it's family memories, right? Now you have children. Yeah. You didn't have children when you first bought your house, did you, right? Now you have two.
Now we have two.
Wow, see, there's something about that country water. I don't know. But it becomes so much more than just a straight real estate transaction. Now, that's not for everybody. Not everybody wants a new friendship when they buy a house through a real estate company. They just want someone that's professional, someone that'll get the job done, and someone that'll find them the right house or sell their house. And we do that as well. But that's pretty cool. All right. Enough of Andre. Let's move on to Cole for a minute.
Oh, it's my turn now.
Now,
okay.
Cole, you've had a pretty exciting time because you've been overseas for 3 years now.
Yeah, I'd say the better part of 3 years at this point.
So it was about 3 years or so ago that we sold your property for your parents.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about you. You've now moved back to Canada, you personally.
Yes, I will be going to school in the fall. So.
Okay, you're going to school. Where are you going to school?
Master's College and Seminary down Peterborough.
Master's College and Seminary. Now, seminary, that seems to me like you might be going into the field of the cloth, so to speak.
Yeah.
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 What's your goals? What's your dreams?
Well, I know it would be nice to get a master's in theology, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and so that's the education part. But is there a dream for you for what you want to do with your life once you get your education?
Well, I honestly have not thought out that far. Honestly, I'm just kind of waiting to be directed.
Okay, that's a good place to be. Very nice. Okay, so let's talk about the sale of your home a little bit. You had an interesting property, very, very neat. And just before they do that, I've got to pause for the cause and just let people know, if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Decker team, and we're really pleased that you're here. And a couple of our clients just impromptu stopped into our office, and so we brought them down into the studio, and we're recording this lovely video for memory's sake.
Yes.
So, Cole, tell me about, there was a couple of funny things that happened. Well, they weren't funny at the time, right? No, very, very stressful. Kind of funny to look back on.
Oh, yes.
At least one of them very funny. But so we were about to put your house up for sale, and tell us what happened to your house.
Well, I think it was It was within a few weeks of teaming up with you guys that it was in the middle of winter, so the roads are icy. But a woman, we don't know how this happened, drove off the road and into our house. She drove right into the garage. And we thought like this was it. The house, it's going to come off or it's going to fall over. And that was fun. House doesn't fall over. We get it repaired. And then shortly after that, we get a few potential buyers. And, we think it's set. All of a sudden, we get a notice that we have a basement underneath our garage that was just hit. And we find out that the supports are breaking. So this garage is going to cave in on itself within a few weeks or months or whatever. And so all of a sudden, all of our, potential buyers leave. And so we got to fix that up. And that's a lot of money. That was super fun.
Super fun.
Oh, yeah. I was relatively young. I must have been 15 at the time. So I wasn't too involved. But you could tell that my parents, they weren't particularly happy at this point in time. They were a little stressed. And things could have got a lot worse, but they didn't, and that is something spectacular that we're not sure how things went so well.
Okay, so you ran into some issues. We went to put your property on the market, and this lady ran into it and damaged all the outside and the siding and all that sort of stuff, right? And so there had to be some repairs done to the house. Usually your house doesn't get into car accidents, really,
No.
not too often. So that was pretty interesting. And then you found that the supports weren't installed properly underneath the garage. And I think there was a little bit of what we call delamination, which meant the salt and things from your car on the concrete had worked their way through the cement. And then underneath, it was flaking off basically in layers.
Yeah.
They call that delamination. And you'll find that sometimes in underground parking lots or something. You'll look up and you'll see that the concrete's not looking the greatest, right? And you see it on bridges too. They go out and they re-repair their bridges. It's the salt that destroys the concrete. So what we did was we were able to find some people that were expert in that field, bring them in. They were able to re-support it, cut out the chunk of the concrete floor that was not solid. And I'm not sure exactly how they did. I think they put rebars in, then they re-poured this chunk that was bad.
Yeah.
And then they put a membrane on it, right? Like a sealant. So
that sounds about right.
Salt wouldn't happen again. It wouldn't be able to get back through. And so really well done. And we managed to find someone that wanted to buy your home.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And we got you off. And what's really interesting, this is an interesting little web we weave, isn't it? So the people that sold their house to Andre, right? They built a house. And guess where you are living right now?
With them?
With them.
That's funny. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
You're living with them right now while you're back on leave from Europe.
Yes.
You're in their house because they were able to buy a bigger house and sell the one that Andre's living in. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
That is fun.
God weaved all that together. You didn't know that you buying the house was going to help Cole's family, did you?
No clue. No clue.
You probably didn't even know it until you walked in here today.
Yeah. We did actually because through Bonnie and Richard is how we met Cole's family.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And now we're getting closer and closer with Cole's family at the same time as our entire group is getting closer and closer together.
Yeah. That's neat.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Wow, God is good. God is good. So what recommendations would you have? Because I think sometimes people think, well, I'm going to hire somebody and everything's going to go smooth. There aren't going to be any hiccups. There aren't going to be any problems. We're not going to have any problems selling our house or buying a house. But the truth is there's quite often hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes the difference for you guys when you run into a hiccup?
Well, I mean, obviously, when your realtors know who to contact, like when we learned that the garage was going to cave in on itself, you guys knew who to contact and we found someone. And that was taken care of really, really quickly. Well, I mean, I don't want to say it was done the next day, but it was done.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, I think. It
Yeah.
was repaired very, very fast. Yeah.
And for us, it's just the peace of mind. I mean, working night shift, I don't have time to deal with all of these things, and just having the peace of knowing that you guys took care of everything that we needed to look at, made the arrangements for the home inspection, made the arrangements for the septic inspection, made all of the arrangements so that all I had to do was show up and
Write the check.
write the check and walk away. That was it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So any recommendations to our listeners as to the process of buying or selling? What would you recommend to them?
I would definitely recommend to stay calm. It's easy to let your emotions get the better of you when looking for a home, and trust that the people that you have in place to help you really do know what they're talking about, really have good advice, and can help you get to where you need to be.
Okay. Would you recommend the Decker team to your friends and
Hands
people
down.
and listeners?
We
Yeah?
already do recommend the Decker team to anybody we know.
That was a
looking,
loaded
so.
question, but I had
Absolutely.
to ask it. And what about you, Cole? Any recommendations for our listeners when they're selling a property?
I hardly think I'm in that kind of place, but I mean, I guess don't think the world's going to fall down or come apart, especially when something horrible happens, like a car driving into your garage.
Yeah.
If you guys are still able to work with that and, come to a point where it brings us to a good place, I say that that's great. I mean, absolutely. I know we've recommended you guys to some of our friends that have mentioned that they were going to move, and I don't think we definitely don't regret working with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think a lot of times, like I said, we'd like to have an event-free move. We don't want anything to be broken when we get there. We want it to be clean. We want it to be perfect. We don't want any issues. And the truth is, sometimes there's issues. And I think it's whether your realtor hides their head in the sand and says, it's your problem, it's your house.
Yeah.
Or whether they come to your aid and they whether it be financially or emotionally support or support in getting the right people in place. Sometimes for me, it's going back to the seller and saying, hey, this was broken when they moved in, or you left something behind that you shouldn't have, go pick it up. Like you left that 67 Chevy broken down in the woods that should have been taken out. Whatever it is, we go to bat for you. And I think that's super important. Well, I really, really appreciate you guys popping in, and I know you were just out for a drive for the nice sunny weather and everything, and we snap food you. So I appreciate the time you've spent with us. Any last parting words, whether it be about real estate, about following God, about anything? What one last parting word from you guys, and then I got a couple properties I'm going to talk about.
Sure. Just trust. God's got it. We're just here doing what we need to do for Him. Just trust.
I've got no idea what I'm doing even at this moment.
Oh, that's perfect. You know what? You're 18, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you shouldn't know. I didn't have a clue. I thought I had a clue, but I really didn't have a clue.
Yeah, we were just going out for a drive, and all of a sudden we're thrown in some room with lights at us right now and cameras pointed at us. So, I mean, just kind of go with it.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So I've got a few properties to talk about. Now, both of you bought and sold what I'd consider more a rural property on well and septic and that. And funny enough, the three properties I have to talk about are condominiums in the city. So I didn't plan that really well. I could have had some country properties to talk about, but that'll be another show. So I've got actually three condominiums here that are great properties, affordable first-time properties. One is in the East End on Orient Park. It's $195,000, and this would be kind of your three-story townhouse style. So it has the garage on the main floor as you drive in. You go up a set of stairs, there's your living room, kitchen, that sort of thing. Another set of stairs is the bedrooms. So it's a 3-story townhouse style for $195. You don't buy much house for $195 anymore. So that's really great. And I'm just scanning this piece of paper real quickly because I was looking for the amount of the condo fee. So $355 per month. That includes some insurance, your water, exterior maintenance, and your grass and roadway and that kind of stuff. Just doesn't cover shoveling in front of your garage. But yeah, that's a good deal. Then I've got one on London Terrace. This is in Manor Park. Do you know where Manor Park is in Ottawa?
Okay, no.
It's like one of the most expensive areas of Ottawa, Manor Park.
I was going to say, it sounds fancy.
It does, doesn't it? Well, this is right there, right near St. Laurent Boulevard, so it's quick to the St. Laurent Mall for shopping and that sort of thing. This is what we call a stack condominium. Stack condominiums have 2 doorways. One goes usually into the living room, kitchen, and then down a flight of stairs to the bedrooms, which we call it a basement, but it's only in the ground about 3 feet. So you got really big windows for your basement windows. And then the other doorway is for the other unit, which goes up a flight of stairs to the kitchen, living room, and then up another flight of stairs to the bedroom area. So they're stacked on top of each other. And so this property is the main level one, which is kind of nice because you only have one set of stairs, and that's to go to the bedrooms. $275,000 with a 273. We could have rounded that up to 275. That'd be cool, eh? 275 with a 275 condo fee. Almost like we planned that. That's very cool. This is a beautiful property, available immediately. Really nice flooring and things. It's great. And then the third condominium, we've given the whole gamut of types of condominiums. This is a condominium apartment style. It's a 1-bedroom, 1 bath for $325. This is on Cleary Avenue. And nice thing about this, some people like condominiums that are up high, you know. This one is on the main floor. So you actually have a patio as opposed to a little balcony, right? So you're right on the main floor with all the auction. That's $325,000. And now that one, the rental is a little bit more, the condo fee, sorry, it's $450. Includes your insurance, your caretaker, management, water, rooftop terrace, exercise room.
Doesn't sound bad.
Party room. Party room. So if you're going to have, a bunch of guests over and your apartment's not big enough, you book the party room and you have your birthday party or whatever you want. So you get the advantage of like owning a big house with a big party room, but you don't have to pay for it. So that's pretty cool. It's got an elevator, although you don't really need the elevator if you're on the first floor, unless you're going up to the terrace on the top. Yeah, so that's $325,000. So if you like information on a condominium, country property, selling your house, whatever it is, the Decker team's got you covered. So give us a call at 613-860-4663. That's 613-860-4663. And we'd love to help you out. Thanks for joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Decker team.
What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you.